This is how to make your Mythras character. As you're watching or listening, you're going to want to have your Mythras core rules book open and skimming along as I'm going through this. This is made primarily for the play-by-post group that I'm starting up right now, but this video should be applicable to any Mythras groups I start up in the future or possibly join. First off, first thing you want to do before worrying about any of the mechanics or rules or anything when creating your character is to have a character concept. We all know what that means here, I think. It's on page 6. And then characteristics are calculated on page 8. There's 3 methods you can do. Dice roll in order, point by, you get 75 points, or the method I usually go for, dice roll assign. So that means you roll your characteristics and then you can put them whatever order you like. You have strength, constitution, dexterity, power, and charisma. Those are all calculated as 3d6. And once you roll those, you can rearrange them however you like. You also have size and intelligence. Those are 2d6 plus 6. And you can switch those two if you like. You can't switch intelligence and strength, for example, because those are calculated differently. And that's your characteristics. Next is attributes. The attributes include action points. Well, I won't list them all out. I'll just go through them. Action points are on page 8. You add your intelligence and dexterity together, and then based on the result, determines how many action points you have. What an action point is, it essentially represents how often a character can act in a combat round. And we'll get into how they work later in another video, in a rules video. But for this campaign, I'm not even using action points, but that's what they are. Next is damage modifier. Add your strength and size together, consult the charts, and you get your damage modifier. It's going to give you more or less damage based on your strength and your size. Experience modifier. A character's charisma can adjust the number of experience rolls that someone gets. So, I hate to say leveling up, but whenever your character gets better at something, they get experience rolls. And again, I'll explain how those work later. But if you have more charisma, you get more of those rolls because you're able to better find people to teach you or spar with you, that kind of thing. Next is healing rate. That's determined by your constitution, how many hit points you gain back per day. Unless your injury is more severe, then it could be per week or per month, but again, we'll get into that. Next is height and weight. These don't affect anything mechanically, but it's based on your size. For example, if you're size 18, your height would be 201 to 205 centimeters, and then you can pick lithe, medium, or what is it called, heavy. So you can pick your build no matter what your size is. But yeah, you'll have a range in kilograms for each one. Next is hit points. And in Mythras, we have hit points per location. So the locations are your 2 legs, your abdomen, your chest, your 2 arms, and your head. You'll add your constitution and size together, and based on the chart, you'll see how many hit points you get for each location. Next is luck points. Oh, no, next is initiative bonus. I almost never use it. I haven't used it in a long time, actually, but if you do use it, it's the average of the dexterity and intelligence characteristics. Next is luck points. Honestly, I view these as meta. Some people don't, I do, but in this campaign, I kind of like them. They can be used to re-roll the dice, mitigate physical damage or other unfortunate circumstances, or gain an edge at a vital moment in combat. We can go into exactly how they're used later. That's on page 81. But basically, they're calculated by your power. There's a chart on the table, or a table on the page, rather. That's page 10. Determines how many luck points you have. Magic points. This campaign, you won't be starting off with magic, but you still want to know how many magic points you have in case you do learn magic later, or for any other reason. Your magic points are equal to your power characteristic. And magic points are used to fuel casting of spells or other things. Then next is movement rate. Everybody is human. They have a default movement rate of 6 meters. No calculation. Next is standard skills. They're called standard skills because whether you're trained or not, no matter who you are, everybody can attempt them. There are 22 standard skills. Everybody has these. They're calculated using a basic percentage. You add 2 characteristics together. For example, athletics is strength plus dexterity. That's the basic percentage. And you will get more points later, don't worry, but that's where it's at this stage in character creation. Next is combat style. All combat styles have a basic percentage equal to strength plus dexterity. Since most people can pick up a weapon and instinctively either swing, throw, or fire it, combat styles are considered standard skills. That's how you calculate them. You'll also see sample combat styles, sample suggested weapons for the style. These are going to be the, for example, if you're a gladiator, your suggested weapons for that would be short sword, buckler, net, and trident. Those are the weapons that you'd be good at using. And then suggested trait is daredevil or man catcher. In pretty much all my campaigns, I'd probably be fine with, if you have a combat style, you have one combat style trait to go with it. And again, we'll explain how they work later. That's the first chapter. Next is culture and community. There are 4 basic human cultures: barbarian, civilized, nomadic, primitive. In this chapter, you're going to see a description of each one. And these are where you're going to get some more points for your skills, cultural skill points. Each one is going to list out, so you'll pick your culture, and whatever culture you pick, it's going to list some standard skills, and it's going to list some professional skills. You'll have a pool of 100 points that you can distribute amongst those standard skills and the chosen professional skills. I believe you can choose 3. Let me make sure. Yes, 3. So again, you have 100 points that you can distribute between the standard skills, the 3 chosen professional skills, and the combat style if desired. Minimum of 5%, maximum of 15%. You'll also grant a plus 40% to customs and native tongue, irrespective of the culture chosen. Depending on the culture chosen, you'll also get some passions. The example ones for barbarian are loyalty to clan chieftain, love, friend, sibling, or romantic lover, hate, creature, rival, or villain. For now, we're not calculating anything there. You're just deciding some deep beliefs or things that your character is passionate about. Loyalty, love, hate, that kind of thing. Background events are fun. It's a D100 table. I don't know how many results are actually in it. Maybe 75. Of background events. I'm fine with probably all my campaigns rolling or choosing or making your own. It is fun to roll and see if you can fit that into your character somehow. Of course, if you want to choose, that's fine. You get 1. If you're an older character, you can actually get more of these because you have more life experience. Next is community. You have your social class. I'm fine with rolling or picking. Picking makes more sense to me. Like you've got your character concept in mind. And you usually have their social class thought up when you make the concepts, right? So based on your social class, you'll get some starting money that you can roll there. I'm on page 21. Next is families. Allies, contacts, rivals, and enemies. And there are tables later for this. And passions. We've already talked about passions. But this is how to calculate them. So it's going to be 30% plus 2 of your characteristics. Example, I'm on page 23 now. Object of passion is a person in a romantic or familial context. Examples are lover, sibling, wife, parent, etc. Starting percentage would be 30% plus loved one's power plus charisma. You can see there's other examples on that table. There's a little sidebar for marriage there on page 23. And here are the tables, page 24, social class tables. You have your class, example titles, money modifier. So whatever you rolled up for your starting silver pieces, you'll multiply by the money modifier to see what you actually have because of your social class. And this could be silver pieces, or it can actually be commodities like animals, slaves, other things, whatever. You also have background resources. You don't have to buy these things, as it were. It's just things that would be appropriate to have with your social class. They're the family and connections table, reputation table on page 25. That's the end of chapter 2. Chapter 3 is careers. Depending on your culture, you'll have a certain number of careers to pick from. Primitive has the least, then nomad, then barbarian, then civilized has all of them to choose from. So when you pick your career, You'll select up to 3 skills from the professional skills available to that career, and you'll distribute 100 points amongst the career's listed standard skills and whatever professional skills were chosen. Minimum of 1%, maximum of 15%. That's a little bit different than the culture section. That was minimum 5, max 15. This is minimum 1, max 15. But it's the same deal. You have a pool of 100 points that you're distributing. There are a lot of careers listed out here. Age, page 31. If you want to play a different age, which in this campaign is fine with me, you'll get more bonus skill points, which determine how many additional skill points the character has to spend on developing his skills. So there's bonus skill points that I'm going to explain next. If you're older, you get more. Maximum skill increase limits how many of the bonus points can be applied to any one particular skill. So if you're older, instead of just a max of 15, you could apply 20, 25, or even 30 points to a skill in the bonus skill section. And as I said earlier, you get more background event roles. The drawback is aging. On page 70, there are rules for that. I'm going to go through that real quickly. Scrolling there. Aging. Starts on page 70, goes to 71. So anytime you move from one age band to another age band, you have to make an endurance roll and a willpower roll. You see the chart on page 71. When you get to early middle age, the rolls are easy. If you get to middle age, they're standard. Late middle age, they're hard, and so on and so on. So if you want to make a character that's 90 years old, you won't just be making the endurance and willpower rolls one time. You'll be going through the chart for each age band, so that would be 6 rolls for each one. And the difficulty keeps getting harder and harder. And I'll explain I'll explain how the difficulty for rolls works in the rules video. Should come out soon. If you fail a roll at any point, you'll go to the aging effects table. You roll your d6 to see what is affected. For example, if you roll strength, you'll lose d3 points of strength. Yeah, that's all for aging. Let me go back to where I was. Bonus skill points. So this time you've got a pool of 150 points. Bonus skill points are used in the following way. They allow the character the option of choosing one final new combat style or professional skill, reflecting a personal hobby or interest. Distribute points amongst whatever skills the character currently has, increasing each skill by 1% for every point spent on improving it. No individual skill can receive more points than indicated by their age category. And save for the optional hobby skill, no points may be assigned to those combat styles or professional skills not learned as part of their culture or career. So those really help you round out your character or get some extra skills in there that you didn't get from culture or career. Well, one, the hobby skill. Next is starting equipment. This gives some examples of things you might have based on your social class. On page 33, there's a background equipment table. Now, if I'm reading the book conservatively, even though it doesn't expressly say you need to buy the things on this table, it kind of reads like you do, but I have a more liberal reading of this. I think if you were supposed to spend money on this, it would say so. I think these are just things that you just add to your sheet. Yeah. Page 33 explains the 5 magic systems briefly. We won't worry about those. In this campaign, we'll use folk magic and sorcery. I'll get into those later. Then cult membership. You'll decide if you're a member of any organizations. It mentions cults and brotherhoods are covered at length in their own chapter beginning on page 192. And in that chapter, it gives the games master the option to flesh out those things, give them 5 ranks, and give like responsibilities and like awards or things that you can get at each level of the cult or brotherhood. For this campaign, I don't feel the need to, at least so far, I don't feel the need to make so many levels for them. We'll just play it naturally and see where it goes. That's it for character creation. I think I explained that pretty well. I hope I did. But let me know if you've got any questions. Thank you.